Welcome to Southland's Strange Haunting and Hunters. I'm your guide, Glenn Ross. You know, Southern California is known for a lot of things, not the least of which is haunted locations. And that is why we're here. We're coming to you from the first Christian church here in Rialto. It was built in the year 1907. Today it stands as the location of the Rialto Historical Society. And some people say that it's haunted. Okay, when you're dealing with any potentially haunted location, it's usually best to have an expert on hand in the field of paranormal studies. Richard Sennett is one such expert. Our own Kyle Maki introduces us to this well-respected ghost hunter.
I began my quest for the truth behind ghosts when I saw one night.
He's been called one of the top ghost hunters in the world. Richard Sennett has been chasing the paranormal for over 30 years.
I have had a number of frightening encounters. I was the manager of the Olivas Adobe. Olivas Adobe is just chock full of ghost stories. So I invited this really hotshot LA psychic to come. And sure enough, she's in the children's room and there's something in the window on the outside looking in. But it's a two-story building. And there was no ledge out there for them to be standing on. And I looked at that and I blew it up, and wouldn't you know it, in the window, the face looked like Nicholas Olivas. You can see the beard, it's the same, the hairstyle, the eyes, everything. I believe this is one of the best pictures we have on the existence of a ghost.
Like any good ghost hunter, Richard has many ghost-busting tools.
This is a e-meter. It measures electronic magnetic fields. This is a pretty standard one, a lot of ghost hunters today. This is a Cyber Probe 2. What this measures is a static electrical field. You can use this to capture their kind of energy. This is essentially, it's an electronic thermometer. The place where the ghosts are found is usually cold. So what you want to do is measure the temperature, and you just pull the trigger.
For Time Warner Cable, I'm Kyle Maki.
Thank you, Kyle. So what do you think? Are ghosts real? Well, I'm with a man now who used to not think so, but that was before he experienced it himself here in the Rialto Historical Society. In fact, he wrote a book about it, The Little Girl in the Window. May I introduce Mr. John Adams. John, what is the book all about?
The Little Girl in the Window is Christina Dana Hendrickson, who died in 1967. She's our favorite ghost. And it's about my 20 years of experiences encountering ghosts in this building that turned me from an atheist that ridiculed ghosts into a firm believer.
Well, still not convinced? Well, perhaps it's time we visit what some people say is the most haunted location ever, the Queen Mary in Long Beach. Jerry Reeder dares to take us there.
The Queen Mary, also known as the Gray Ghost, is considered to be one of the world's most haunted locations. It's reported that mysterious poundings on the side of the ship are men that were left for dead during World War II. Even if you don't believe in ghosts, you can't deny the eerie feeling when walking through the vortex.
I didn't believe in ghosts, you know. It's like, I don't care, I'll go first. And I walked through, and as soon as I came through here, like I just got dizzy and my legs almost went out from under me. And I actually came right over into here where you're standing now, just to kind of get out of that. I don't know why I thought I needed to move out of it, but I just felt I needed to move. The vortex is the doorway for the spirits to pass through. And all the parapsychologists think that it's right here, that the ghosts are coming on board ship through an invisible door right here.
The vortex, if you will, the sort of center of where the spirit activity is reputed to be on the ship, is in the old first-class swimming pool area, which is no longer a pool that's in use, but it is part of our tours.
Hundreds of souls are said to roam the decks, screams are heard from hallways, and yet people can't get enough of these ghostly encounters.
The ghosts like to feed on any energy source that they can get that's near them.
It's a very popular subject for people. People come from all over the world to see if they can experience something here. So we're supposed to be one of the 10 most haunted hotels in America. The ghosts are a big draw for us, so we're happy to have them around.
Trapped in the Queen Mary's service elevator, I'm Jerry Reeder.
Thanks, Jerry. We'll try and get somebody out there to look at that elevator for you. In the meantime, I think I'll simply take the stairs here at the old church. Oh, speaking of these stairs, I've got an interesting story to tell you about them. I'll have that for you when Southland's Strange Haunting and Hunters returns. Welcome back. I promised you a story about the staircase. Some years ago, the alarm system went off late at night here at the Rialto Historical Society. According to John Adams, 2 Rialto police officers showed up to investigate. What those officers saw on this staircase, they will never forget. A female ghost descending down the staircase. Okay, not wanting to visit the police psychiatrist, those 2 officers never filed a report. Here's the kicker. About 6 years later, the same thing happened to 2 completely different officers. Interesting. Okay, now let's head to our next story, which involves a father and daughter who have a few strange stories of their own.
Whether you believe it or not, paranormal activity is recorded by investigators such as California Paranormal Investigators or CPI in Hemet, takes what's spiritual and tries to give it scientific meaning.
Shadow people are the biggest phone call we get. They'll be sleeping, they'll see the shadow go by, they can't explain it, nobody's around. They're going to give you more audio sounds, knocks, playful noises, whatever. The more that happens to validate what they're experiencing is better for us. If you just see a shadow, that can be easily explained by a car going by at night. But if you're getting audio and the feeling of him being there, and you see the shadow, now we got 3 pieces of evidence to put together.
CPI collects data using meters, cameras, and microphones.
We caught a spirit of about a 4-foot-high little child walking from one side to the other. And we went back the following day to debunk it with lights and the whole bit. We couldn't do it.
Tom and his daughter Carrie also use their own sensitivities to investigate. In fact, ever since they've moved in, they found possible paranormal activity in their own home.
Sometimes you get nervous and you get scared. Other times you're just like, yeah, whatever, you know, we know you're here. You don't scare us. We're just going to keep living with it. I was on my computer and my father came up and I told him that I'd been hearing noises. And I was joking with him, explaining, you know, get him out of my room. I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing.
All right. Whatever's in here right now, get out.
And a box of baby food just flew off the shelf and scared us half out of our wits.
This whole area is sitting on the Saboba Indian burial ground.
This room here in particular is my daughter Kayla's room, where she has seen a little Indian girl. You could hear like this sound, what sounds like she's trying to get into the door. And suddenly the next second, it's wide open and her room is freezing cold.
This indication of a spirit may leave one cold, but not alone. In Hemet, I'm Diane Schram.
Thanks, Diane. Well, it seems that father and daughter have ghost hunting in common. You know, sometimes when people experience odd things together, it brings family closer. It reminds me of a family I met recently in Riverside. You see, they've got a problem with their new home, and I'm not talking about the plumbing. Take a look. It was built in 1974, but it's been home to Robert Struble, wife Wendy, and their kids for only 6 months now. During that time, they've started to suspect that there's more than just family living here.
I was here by myself, and I'll sit at the dining table a lot with my laptop when I'm not at the office, and that's where I'll work. And I kept getting a sensation of somebody walking behind me. And out of the corner of my eye, I'd see a shadow.
And then there was the time sisters Corey and Claire were watching television.
There was a shadow casted in front of us.
It didn't stop there.
I had my laptop playing with my music video. I had my TV on, but it was really low. and I heard some footsteps like creeping. And I looked, like peeked out my door down my hallway. Nobody was there.
As if all that weren't bad enough, both Robert and Wendy have been locked in the backyard by a force that seems to insist that the sliding door stay locked.
Closed the door behind me, and when I came back in, the door was locked.
Time for a visit by CPPI, California Paranormal Private Investigators. So, is the home haunted?
It seems to hold some energy. We know that there actually have been a few deaths at this site, we've been told. So we're not sure if it's energy from that.
Whatever it is, at one point it had all the investigators' EMF meters spiking sharply. The meters read changes in electromagnetic fields, an indication that there may be paranormal activity here. Bottom line is, CPPI tells us this case warrants further investigation.
And we'll investigate around them and see, what else we can find.
So, there you have it, some delightful bedtime stories for the kids. In parting, we would like to thank John Adams and the members of the Rialto Historical Society. We would also like to thank all the spirits in this building for keeping the noise level down while we were videotaping. I'm Glenn Ross. I gotta go. Time to head toward the light.